guys, welcome to another episode. Jerome here from the Bonsai Supply, and today we're going to work on this Adenium. So I stopped watering this guy a couple days ago, so it's really dry. I'm going to go through and defoliate the entire tree, lift it out, and then see what we have in the root system. This tree has been in this pot for a little over 2 years now, so I have high hopes that there should be quite a nice codex inside at this point. Alright, so this Adenium is really root bound, and when you work with Adeniums that are really root bound, you don't necessarily want to go in here with like a root hook or a root rake. You want to use water, and you just want to wash out the soil. Never try to pull it out because you could seriously damage some roots, and we don't want that. Alright, so now at this point I'm just going to lay it down here and just keep it in the shade for about a week or so until all of these cuts have completely dried, and so they callus over and create like a little crust, and that's when I know that the tree is dry enough for me then to pot it and then go ahead and actually style the tree. So right now I'm leaning towards making a broom style tree, or I could also do a windswept. It's got really nice long branches, but I think I'm just gonna go and wire them down into a broom style type of design. This will be its first ever styling. I'm not gonna trim it back too hard. I'm just gonna repot it and just do a little basic wiring. Alright guys, so it's been exactly 3 days since I put this tree into the shade and since I cut the roots off, and now it has dried off at the bottom and calloused over, and now I know it's a good time for me to go ahead and pot it, and I don't have to worry about the tree getting any root rot or anything like that. So I also chose a pot that I thought would go really well with it. Once I pot it, I'm going to wire all the branches down, and then I'm going to have a pretty big canopy, so I think a nice big pot like this will go really well with the future of this desert rose. So the next step is we're gonna have to find the front of the tree, and the way that you do that is you look for the front of the tree that has the most interesting characters of the tree. Maybe like this part is wider than, let's say if I chose this as a front, this looks a lot skinnier, so if I twist it a little bit, this opens up the tree, and now all of a sudden my tree looks so much bigger. I can also look at the branches and see which way I'm going to bend them so that I don't have to cut them all down. Yeah, so I think I'm going to choose this as a front. So I'm not going to choose this as a front because this will poke you in the eye. You know what? Let's get rid of it. I don't like it. I liked it a second ago, now I don't like it anymore. Happens that fast around here. So I'm going to use this as the front, and I'm going to have a little tilt. Now this area here is going to heal over. I don't have to worry about that. And now when I'm going to style the tree, I have a nice open canopy. Alright, so I'm going to use my all-purpose soil, same as always. Here we are. Now again, I'm pouring the soil into a little mound, and the soil that I'm using is no other than the lava rock, the calcined clay, the charcoal, and the pumice, of course. So now that I have it at a mount like this, there's a lot of spaces in here. I'm going to put the tree on top like this and wiggle it into position, so that again, that all of these rocks, all of these soil aggregates go into all of the spaces underneath. So when I tie it down, I don't have to worry about air pockets. So at this point, I'm going to use my chopstick and move the soil into all of the air pockets. Perfect. So now at this point, I really want to take my time and make sure that I work out all of the air pockets. And the way that you can do this is, first I like to push the soil down into the pot with my thumbs. And this feels pretty firm, but don't be fooled because there's always air pockets inside. So I use my chopstick and I just run it into the soil and see if I have any air pockets. Oh, you see, here, this is really firm, but then once I go over here, all the soil starts to sink in. So now what I can do is wiggle my chopstick back and forth and also go in circles like this, and then the soil will slowly fall into the I ran out of the words there to say. But you know what I mean. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, so at this point, since I don't have a root ball, if I tie it down across like this, it's not going to do much for hold. So I'm going to crisscross it over the bottom of the Adenium, and then that will keep it in place. Usually I like to use aquarium tubing, like that white rubber tube, to prevent the wire to cut into the Adenium. Now, since I've done this a couple times, I'm just going to do it very carefully, and then I don't have to worry about hurting the Adenium. So I'm going to crisscross it and line it up. Take off the excess wire. Here we are. Always make sure that you hold your tree with one hand in position as you tie it down. Sometimes with the tie down, the tree can shift a little bit. I'm not sure why I just walked to the other side when I actually have a perfectly well functioning turntable. Easy peasy. And now the last thing that I like to do is from the bottom, I like to, I don't think you're going to be able to see this, but the wires that run across like this, I'm going to grab them like this. I'm going to pull on them, and then I'm going to give it a twist like this. I'll do the same over here. Give it a nice little twist. And by giving this twist, now you're really tightening everything inside, and you're making sure that the tree's not rocking back and forth or not moving. So this is really to tie it down one last time, just to give it that little extra hold. Alright, so next I'm going to wire the tree, and I'm going to put a little style into it as well. Now, a couple problems right off the bat with this tree. All the branches point up, which is not the problem, but all the branches are exactly the same thickness. Now, a good bonsai, actually a great bonsai, has the thickest branches at the bottom, and then they get thinner and twiggier up to the top. So I'm not really concerned about this, since this is the very first styling. So I'm going to wire all the branches down, and I'm going to leave the tips, and I'm going to leave the branches at the bottom. I'm not going to cut them, I'm just going to bend them into shape, but the other ones I'm going to cut a little shorter. So what that does is the bottom branches will then allow to grow out a little more, to thicken up, and then I can slowly create that layering effect. So I'm going to take wire. I always like to wire two branches together. So here we are. So the reason why you always want to wire two branches together is so that you get a, this is going to be your anchoring point right here where the V is. So when I wire, I don't have to worry about the wiring not being able to stay in place, because there's the anchoring place. So see, I can wire it out fairly easy to the tip. Here we are. Now this excess wire, I'm going to keep it. Either I'm going to keep it to wire shorter branches, Or, oops, I actually have a separate little area where I keep all the shorter wires, which I then use as to hold the screen in place when I repot different trees. So I don't waste any wire. There we are. So now these two branches are wired, and I'm gonna wire this one and this one together again. Since this one is so thick, I don't think one layer is going to be enough, but for this branch, since it was much smaller and thinner, one wire is fine, but I'm just going to double it on this one, and that way I can still wire two branches together. And since this is an Adenium, you want to wrap the wire around the branches pretty carefully, because they tend to cut into the branches very quickly. So when you wire an Adenium, you always want to let it dry out, because that's when you can bend the branches the best way. If you don't let them dry out, they store all the water inside the branches, and then you're going to break the branches. So you don't want that. Here we are. So now the rest of the tree, I'm going to wire it really fast. Let's see if you can keep up with how fast I can wire this tree. Easiest style for an Adenium would be like a broom style. So that's kind of what I'm going here for after. Right now it looks like a Medusa. It looks like a crazy person, but I'm going to cut back the top branches now and just make it a little shorter. So since this is the very first styling, I'm not very concerned about a lot of things at this moment. What I'm really concerned about is now to develop the roots, and then as well to get all the branching into here. This is what a tree should look like after its first styling. No bonsai looks perfect after its first styling. And so this will complete the video of today. I hope you guys liked the video. Please, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm always curious to know what you guys think of my newest designs. And as always, you know, we have these pots on our website. We sell the wire, all the tools that we use in the videos, the turntables. And if you guys have any questions, just leave a remark below. And I'll catch you guys next time.